production. You can see it in the writing choices, the acting choices. But I want to move to a new scene that's in this movie that changes the whole experience. And for me, that was the "Who Are You" sequence. Both with your character and with Janine's character, you really see a huge change in the energy. Can you tell us a little behind the scenes about the "Who Are You" and what, I mean, I've known you for a long time. Man, that was the most impressive acting I've ever seen for you. That was a great piece, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Hell yeah, it was.
Thank you. So, in the original film, Bobby goes off to a trek to Long Island, and at one point they're talking about this Nazi who had the half of the swastika removed from his forehead and blah blah blah. And we actually did all that. And you go off, and it's, you know, he's got like this harem of women he's living with and whatever. I just felt like it didn't work, and Janine, my wife, who plays Danielle, we get along much better. I asked her to come in and start doing some rewrites with me of the original script, and the original scene was Bobby goes to the class, and there's students there, and Lawrence, who's here today, whose character is also named Lawrence, that was my ode to him. He's doing this class, and Bobby does it in front of the whole thing. And it just didn't feel like it worked. And Janine said, well, we do this "Who Are You" exercise in one of her acting classes. And I said, well, you know, I don't even know how that goes. And she was like, it goes like this. And then she basically like wrote that scene, and I just typed it up. So it was probably the scene as an actor I was the most terrified of doing. And we did that early on because I didn't want to have to think about it for the month that we filmed. But yeah, it's really just about getting down to the bare bones, and having those two scenes like intercut came to me when I was listening to the song "Home" that my friend Jay wrote, who's here. Jay wrote that 30 years ago, and then when I told him about it, I said, remember this song "Home"? He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, it's this amazing song, and he's like, holy shit. So he had to go back and dig through old cassettes. And then he came up with this great version, which became like this, you know, kind of like the soul of the movie for me. I was listening to that while I was driving to my day job, and I was like, I should intercut these two scenes because there's such a difference going on. You know, one is dark, the other one's light, and that just kind of signified the two characters.
Yeah, it's like an earthquake in both their lives, you know. And then if we could jump to the ending there, it was almost like French cinema, where the audience is left to put their interpretation on where it goes. There's hints, you know, when he goes for the Nicky Newark jacket and he pulls away. The Donnie saying, in every life there's a choice. Your priest brother said the same thing. It allows us to kind of think about post-credits. Where does it go? Your decision-making on ending the film that way?
So I did a play, Teresa, who played the casting director in the beginning, who's here today too. We did a play at Bergen County Players where I also met Chris, and it was Marvin's Room, and I played Hank, who was this, you know, delinquent teenager. I was like 25 or whatever when I was doing it, but I totally went off because I started thinking about that. Oh yeah, sorry. So we did a bunch of shows, and at that time I was a lot, you know, I was 25, so everything was just about me and my acting. And after one of the shows, this guy came up to me and he had tears in his eyes, and I was like, well, what's this about? And he, you know, came up and just said, you know, you remind me a lot of my brother. Because I haven't seen him in 30 years. He died of a drug overdose. And I finally feel like I have closure, because I feel like he, you know, now continues in this story. He's with his aunt, and it impacted me. They're like, wow, you can actually do something and impact people. And it kind of grew me out of this like self-centered stupidity I had at 25. And it always has kind of injected something since then where I don't want to tell people what happens. I want them to think about how it applies to them in their own life. and then use that. So wherever people think Bobby goes for you, that's where he goes with Angie. And that's how I like to leave things open.
Dave, what was your budget?
$18. No.
It was more than 2,000. It was less than $1 million. But that's, yeah. It was a lot more than what we had had originally.
Cool. Anybody else?
If you're raising hands, we can't see you because.
Wait, I got you.
What's the next step in marketing the film?
So Michelle Alexandria is a distributor who is also our executive producer. So she's been doing distribution for 20 years. So she has a lot of contacts, and she's been, while we've been making the movie and while we've been doing editing and everything, she's been talking to distributors. So the next step is to get it sold and get it out there so that everybody, can see it. So.
All right. Might have time for one more.
What was your favorite part of filming the movie?
What was that?
What was your favorite part of making the movie?
This was a beast, I'd be honest with you, emotionally. I mean, it was tough. Originally, I wasn't going to play Bobby. I was going to play Reggie, even though I had written Bobby for myself, and I played him the first time. And Bobby's based off of me and a good friend of mine who plays Vincent Paparazzo, who's here in the back. I had intended for it to be my last movie because I started acting in 95. So I was hitting like the 29-year mark when we filmed this last year.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was in the process of making this movie, I had only told my friend Alex and obviously my wife Janine, I was like, this is it. I figured I might as well just end it on a high note because things didn't go where I wanted them to career-wise and everything. And seeing like the level of passion and excitement that the cast and the crew brought for that month of filming, I really just started feeling like, well, you know what, maybe I was doing this stuff for the wrong reason. And seeing how inspired and how excited the cast and crew was kind of helped me rediscover my own love for it. So I was kind of going through a creative rebirth for myself while I was doing this. So I think the final day of filming, ironically, was probably my favorite because I realized like, no, I'm good to go. And my buddy Alex, who's here, who played Treywood, the delinquent in the back of the car with
an absolutely great haircut.
Amazing
looking
fade.
guy.
He'd come up to me during the whole shoot and he kept saying like, "How we doing?" And I'm like, I'm kind of happy this is the last one. And then, the last day or second to last day, he said, "How we doing?" And I'm like, I don't know. I think there might be a couple of more. And he goes, "How many?" I said, "I don't know, maybe about 7 or 8." So
let's do another 30 years.
There it is. But, yeah, I mean, independent film is a challenge. It's a Herculean effort that everybody puts in. The director can get a lot of credit for it, but we wouldn't have. I mean, our first AD, Van, who's in California, he's not here today. He really helped us just get things going in the early beginnings of the production, and everybody. You call one person, but then there's like 30 other people you got to mention. The people in the locations, the musicians. We have so many people. We have with Skies, which is a band from my hometown. We got Jay. We got Dylan, who did the amazing song Legoland when they're at Claire's apartment, which is beautiful. I think this is its 1-year anniversary today. And Harvey, our composer. The music for me is also probably one of my favorite parts because that's when you start to feel the whole movie come together. So, yeah.
And we have a question over here. Yes.
You made a very sweet father.
Oh, I did? Thank you, because I don't have any children. But that is my little cousin, who I love a lot.
She was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. She's adorable.
The last and final piece of the puzzle is always here.
Yeah.
And please give yourselves a round of applause for being here and really kind of finishing the circle of the Tale of Nicky Newark. Now it can only go on for a life of its own.